So people ask me all the time, if I wasn't gonna live in Winston, where else would you live outside of the city? So today I'm gonna take you through 3 different areas that I think everybody should consider if you wanna be close to Winston-Salem, but don't wanna live within city limits. So today we're gonna start right here in downtown Kernersville. Then we're gonna head out to Lewisville, North Carolina, and finish up in Clemens. There's 3 fantastic areas. Stick around, we're gonna go check it all out. All right, so one of the things we really enjoy about Kernersville is that you still have that really small town feel, like you're going back in time to the 1950s, something like that. You've got a lot of private shops that are available along Main Street here. Very family friendly. You can still find parking on the street for free. That is very rare these days. And you've got a pretty wide variety of what's available to you. Other great thing about Kernersville is the highway system is so accessible. If you want to get into downtown Winston-Salem, let's say you want to go out on a date night or something like that, 15 minutes to downtown Winston. If you want to go to downtown Greensboro, let's say you're going to catch a show at the Performing Arts Center, we're talking 20 minutes from here as well. So very easy to get to wherever you need to go. So here on North Main Street, it's a little bit, like I said, quintessential small town USA. If you head down towards South Main is where you're going to get more of your commercial opportunities, your Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart's, Targets, fast food, things like that. So you can still get all of that. It's only about 5 minutes from here, but so you kind of have 2 different personalities within the same small town. So that's one of the great things about it. And if you have a situation where maybe one person in your household is working in Greensboro and somebody else is working in Winston, this would make a ton of sense because it's a pretty easy commute for both of you that way. So Kernersville has a lot going for it. And as we're working, more down closer to downtown Kernersville, it is small like we mentioned, but this is right in the middle of the day on a Monday. We're here at 12 o'clock. So you're hearing a little bit of traffic. It's 20 miles an hour though. This is the place you kind of just come, you don't worry about anything. Right behind here, it's my buddy Darian's chiropractic office. So if you got something, you got a little hitch in your giddy up, stop and see him. He will take care of you. Great guy, he's been here for quite a while. But lots of small shops and boutiques and things like that through this area right here. So as we mentioned, lots of different shops, boutiques. You got a salon right here, Opulence. Your professional things like attorneys and stuff like that as well. You've also got a cake shop up here on the corner. There's plenty of different things for you to come and check out. But you can tell, very, very much a small town feel right here. You have Triad Park, 4th of July Park, Kernersville Lake Park. There's just parks everywhere. So a great place to bring your kids out and let them just run wild. At the Civitan Park now, they've even got like a little American Ninja Warrior course set up there as well. So pretty unique. I would say this, for a small town, this has got some of the best parks around. And definitely a place you should come check out. All right, guys, we just finished up here at Local Roots Coffee. As the name suggests, it is local. Nice, quaint little areas to sit inside and out, buy your own coffee, make it at home if you feel like it. There's t-shirts and mugs and things like that you can pick up as well. Great little local spot, quaint, come check it out. So now we're back on North Main Street, and Kernersville in different areas can feel like 2 different towns. Whether you're on North Main Street or South Main Street. North Main is gonna be things like this. You get free parking. Where do you get free parking anymore? You walk around here, it feels like a 1950s Hallmark movie, things like that. Just a bunch of brick 1-, 2-story buildings. Very small, know your neighbors type of place. You can find, small locally owned pharmacies still. We just passed Breathe in Kernersville Brewing Company. So, you still have a little bit of a opportunity to get out and enjoy different things. Just because it's a small town doesn't mean you don't have things like that. But here on North Main Street, it's come, park, walk, real simple to get around. And South Main Street, which we'll take you over there in just a little bit, but South Main Street is much more of your commercial areas, your bigger chain stores and things like that that have popped up over the years, your fast food restaurants, your Lowe's, your Home Depots, all that sort of stuff. But as you can tell here, you know, looking for ice cream and things like that, you're just gonna sit out front. This is the type of place you're gonna do that at. So the housing in Kernersville is, you got plenty of different subdivisions, whether you're looking for larger lots, if you're looking for something smaller that's on city sewer, you can find that as well. You know, price points are gonna start, townhomes and things like that you can find in the upper twos occasionally, but you know, 300s is a pretty good place to start here in Kernersville right now. If you head just outside of Kernersville into Oak Ridge and things like that, you could spend well over $1 million if you'd like to. We'll cover Oak Ridge in another video, but Kernersville itself has tons of different options. Definitely a place you should come explore. So we're heading down through South Main Street. As I mentioned, plenty of different shops and boutiques. As we get down here just a little bit further, you're gonna see the Botanical Gardens on the left-hand side, Harmon Park right here on the right. So that's how close that is to downtown as well. But as you're coming right out here, you've got the Botanical Gardens right over here on our left. So pretty close to downtown Kernersville. And we're just gonna continue down South Main Street so you can see, or we're on North Main at the moment, but we're gonna continue on Main Street all the way through South Main so that you can get a feel for how that changes once you cross over Business 40 into the more hustle and bustle. There's a lot more shops and restaurants, fast food, things like that. So you're not gonna have on-street parking and things like that. We go from a 2-lane street to 4 lanes wide, quite a bit more traffic. Not gonna be as much as residential as we are here on North Main. And like I mentioned, how close Business 40 is to Kernersville. You know, we've been driving for 1.5 minutes right now. And if you can see that big American flag in the background, that is about where Business 40 comes in, where you can go ahead and hop in the highway and head right over to Winston-Salem. You know, so things you're gonna find around here like Five Guys, Hardee's, Chipotle, anything along those lines that you're used to seeing in bigger cities, you can find it here. They've been doing a ton of road work over the years. It's finally getting to where that has eased congestion a little bit now. We're not constantly dealing with ongoing projects at the moment. They are still working on a beltway going around the city that's running from this area just east of Kernersville over up to King and Rural Hall in that area, so if you're commuting down from an area like King or Rural Hall and you need to head into Greensboro or Kernersville, something like that, that has become a much easier commute for you now because you don't have to stick just to Highway 52, which has become a little bit congested over the last few years as more and more people are moving to our area. So, I mean, obviously you can tell a lot more retail, a lot more chain stores down here in this area. So you kind of lose that element of the quaint little small town. So Kernersville almost to me has 2 different personalities depending on what side of town you're on. But it's a great area to check out depending on what you're really prioritizing in your real estate search. You can find just a little bit of everything over here. So something you should put on your radar if you have thought about moving to the Triad, but you haven't quite decided where you want to be just yet. Well, maybe Kernersville is someplace for you to check out. You've got a Food Lion here on the right, you've got a Harris Teeter on the left, so plenty of options for you to come and get your groceries and take care of your family. And so we're here at the Botanical Gardens, and obviously we're here off season, being the end of January right now, but you get different events that you can have out here, you know, different new client events, wedding venue, different things like that. But throughout the year, there's all sorts of different seasonal flowers in that planted throughout here. So it's really a pretty spot, as you can see with the little waterfalls and fountains as well. I don't think you find this sort of thing in a lot of small towns. So another little unique thing about Kernersville, definitely encourage you to come check it out. They've got some different things they set up here around the holidays as well. So if you haven't been, come by here, check it out yourself. All right, guys, so we're right out here in Lewisville at Shallowford Square. This is sort of right in the middle of town. You're gonna find things here during throughout the year, like family movie nights, some outdoor festivals, bands, live music, things like that. Main Street here is pretty small. There's not a whole lot of different things to get into, small shops, things like that, your groceries. But as I mentioned, it's only 15 minutes from downtown Winston-Salem. So that's usually what I find if people are moving out to the Lewisville area. They're looking for something that's convenient enough to get back into Winston-Salem, but they really just want a slower pace of life out here. Lewisville, as far as the housing goes, you're gonna find bigger, more stately homes in certain parts. You're going to find farms, large plots of land, people who want horses, all those different types of individuals are gonna probably really enjoy Lewisville. Average home price in the town of Lewisville is significantly higher than what we see for the Triad in general. For the last 6 months, the average home price has been just over $500,000 as compared to, you know, just over 330,000-ish for the rest of the Triad market. So certainly a higher price point out here for on average. Now you have to remember some of that takes into multi-million-dollar equestrian estates and things of that nature. But it is a very, very pretty area. We're gonna take a ride down Conrad Road just because I think that is one of the neatest places you can drive through with the overhanging trees coming right over the road there. You've also got really close proximity to the Yadkin River. So if you're somebody who really enjoys the outdoors, Lewisville could be for you. So this is Shallowford Square, where you're gonna find some of your outdoor concerts, movie nights, things of that nature. Also some festivals from time to time. Just a super easy place to get to right off the main drag. And you have the little small amphitheater here, so it's perfect. So hey guys, we're in here in Welden Ridge. These are some of the townhomes that are available. These are starting in the upper 2s to low 3s. On the back side, you've got your garages. So you've got, you know, everything that's looking toward the street is just your front door and that. You're gonna park out back. There are gonna be some condos in apartments going in, as you can see right here. They're also going to have some shops built into the neighborhood as well. This community is going to have amenities as well, like playground, pool, fire pit. You can see even on the single family homes, the garage is on the backside away from the street. So as we come down here, this is going to be more of typical single family here. A lot of craftsman, almost cottagey looking homes, but they are still quite big. You've got homes in here over 3,000 square feet for some of them, but smaller lots, you know, a little bit more of a homey feel. And this being a master planned development, we don't have a whole lot of those in our area, so that makes this just a little bit unique. As you can see, a lot of these homes have sort of prioritized the main level living. A lot of the living space is going to be on the first floor. And then you have some that go up a little bit more vertically, like that one. But a lot of main level living in here. This is right off of Highway 66, just south of Kernersville. We are in Kernersville, but to get to downtown and that, we're about a 5-minute drive. So nice little community here in Welden Ridge, and something you should check out if you're looking in Kernersville for townhomes. Again, we're starting in the upper 2s, and then for single family, you can get up over 5 depending on what you choose to build. Okay, we're coming right through downtown Winston-Salem now, as you saw right there on those signs for 52 north and south. As I mentioned, that loop that opened up between Kernersville and running up to the King area. Before, the only way to get back down into Kernersville, and that would be to run down 52 and then jump over on Business 40, unless of course you're going to take the back roads. But that has made things a lot easier. You try to get a little bit of the skyline here. You know, we're not a huge city, but I think we've got a decent little skyline for a city of a couple 100,000 people. I think we've got some neat architecture here. The Reynolds building, actually, it's hard to see that here. I wasn't able to get it on video. But the rumor is that the Empire State Building was modeled after the Reynolds building. And it really does look just like it. And there's also a little bit of a rumor out there that the people that designed, or the people who work in the Empire State Building will send a card down here every year around Christmas, just as sort of, yeah, you were the design inspiration for us. As we go through here, you're going to see Peters Creek Parkway, that exit right there. For Truist Stadium, that's going to be for our minor league baseball team, the Winston-Salem Dash. You see those pedestrian walkways, pretty neat as well. So that's our minor league baseball stadium right there, the Winston-Salem Dash. Cool place to come check out. Lots of family nights. Cost of the food and everything has kind of gone up in the last couple of years, but if you go as a group, you can still get some really good packages and prices on a fun night out for everybody. The reason I bring up the camera at this point, though, is you can maybe follow along on the map as we're headed from Kernersville out to Lewisville. It's going to take us about 30 minutes to go from there because Kernersville is east of Winston, in between Winston-Salem and Greensboro. And then Lewisville is going to be out to the west about 15 minutes. So that's coming right through our downtown interchange there. You can see we really don't have too many issues with traffic. All right, so we've arrived at our exit here for Lewisville. We're getting off on Williams Road. And we're getting right off of Business 40, which transitions into Highway 421. So if you can continue down this for another hour and 15 minutes or so, you're going to end up in Boone. So you can be in the mountains here from Lewisville in just over an hour. That's one of the things I really like about this. So you always get off the highway onto a couple small traffic circles. And I think of Lewisville being just a little bit more spread out. It's not as compact as Kernersville or even Clemens that we're going to go see. Very quiet. A lot of different homesteads and farms and that out here. You've got a shopping center here on your left with your Food Lion, Subway, a couple other small things. And then we'll continue around this next traffic circle. And you've got your optometrist, your drugstore, coming into some city government, things like that. But again, very understated, very quaint, very laid back. You're not going to come in here and rush to get a bunch of different things done. If you're moving out here, you're looking for a little slower pace of life, but you still want the convenience to be able to jump into downtown at that same time. All right, so now we're just coming down Shallowford Road. I mean, there's not much of a downtown area to Lewisville here. So you got a couple different things, right? Like insurance offices, hair studios, coffee shops. And then in behind there, you got the Lowe's shopping center, your post office, all the things you really need for your essentials. So your grocery shopping and all that stuff's taken care of. Your coffee shop right here at the coffee mill in Lewisville. And then, as I mentioned, we're super convenient to Business 40 here, 421, which is only going to take you about 15 minutes to be in downtown Winston. So very much, it's its own township, but to go ahead and get to all your downtown dining and things like that, it's only going to take you about 15 minutes. So you can get anything that is necessary right here. Then if you need something more, just head into town. And like I said, you do have a Lowe's Foods right here. So any of your absolute musts are right here. You've also got a Novant Health, family medicine right over here, and an animal clinic, the animal hospital right there, an Italian restaurant, Antonio's. My wife and I used to go there quite a bit back in the day. They had a great special where you could go ahead and get a plate of pasta, a drink, and your tableside bread for only about $10. I'm sure those prices have changed during COVID, but anything you need is really right here. Again, if you want more specialized shopping, things like that, just head into downtown Winston. Okay, guys, we're out here at the lake at Lasara, and this is what I was talking about with upscale luxury homes here in Lewisville. If you're inside of a development, this is sort of something that you would be familiar with here within Lewisville. Most people are going to know the lake at Lasara, and they're larger custom homes, all done by different builders. So every home is going to look a little bit different than the next. Lots are, you know, about a half an acre, some of them smaller than that. And price points are going to be, with the last 6 months or so, prices have been between roughly 700,000 to 1.5 million. And you do have the lake here on property, which you've got the lodge down there as well, which if you're in the HOA, you have access to. But beyond that, you know, if you're outside of a community, you're going to find things, like I said, large estate homes on acreage and things like that when you're looking at the $1 million and over in this area. But you're going to find lots of different custom features like high ceilings, all side brick, hardy board, wolf appliances, Viking ranges, things like that in these type of homes. But it really is a great setting. It all depends, you know, what you value. You know, if you value your privacy and you don't want to be in an HOA, then this is not going to be the community for you. But you can see how the styles really vary one to another. You've got that Spanish style home here a little bit further down, which is very unique for our area. You don't see a whole lot of that with the terracotta roof and the stucco. That's pretty unique for around here. But some great builders in here, fantastic lots. I'll show you the lake on the way out. And something you would consider if you're looking in this price point, it would definitely be a neighborhood I would consider. We're also going to go by Marin here a little bit later. And those are going to be larger 1+ acre lots. And you're not going to have all the community amenities and that you have here. This is going to be more of a neighborhood feel, where if you're going into Marin or something like that, you're looking for a little bit more privacy. And again, that just comes down to, what do you value most in home for you? It's different for everybody. But this is a pretty unique community, great spot, and just some beautiful homes. So if this is something that you would consider, this looks like home to you, then Lewisville may be the place to check out. All right, so now just driving through quickly. This is a new development that is just now starting a few homes. It's called Marin. This is going to be a very exclusive neighborhood here in Lewisville. Right now they're offering 28 lots. Some of the best custom home builders in the area are going to be building these homes, and they're going to be anywhere from 1 to 5 acres per lot. And price points are really going to be between 1.2-ish million, just over $1 million, up into $2 million and more. And so it's just going to be you can see all the trees here. This is not going to be your cookie cutter neighborhood where all the trees get cut down, but nice, big, large lots, custom homes. So if you're looking for some privacy, but also being in a neighborhood setting, this is one of those areas where you should consider, if you have the funds, you know, to build a $1 to $2 million house. I know everybody doesn't have that, and a lot of people don't have that, but it is going to be a very nice neighborhood for those who are looking for this type of home. And again, Lewisville in general, home prices are higher than the rest of the Triad on average, because you have different homes like this that will affect the average home price sales in the area. Okay, so now we're going down Conrad Road here in Lewisville, and I just think this is one of the coolest areas that you can drive through. You've got these trees that are just sort of enveloping the entire road, just going over top of you. Lots of beautiful farmland. This to me is why people move out to Lewisville. You've got the quaintness of this country setting, but you still have the convenience of being able to get into town rather quickly. You can still find some plots of land that are for sale, as you see here. There's a couple of for sale signs on either side of the street here. Generally going to be sold in bigger tracts, again, because people are getting rid of farmland that has been in the family for generations, things like that. So you will see some developers come out here and purchase large tracts, and you'll see a lot more luxury home communities and things like that being established out in this area. We're going to take a look at the lake at Lasara. We're going to go through Marin as well, which is going to be 28 different highly customizable lots with homes starting at about $1 million. So these are higher end for the area, but it is just a beautiful spot out here. We're also super close to the Yadkin River. Just went past one of my old listings that we sold here this year that backed right up to the Yadkin River. It's one of the most peaceful settings you can be in, you know, being right on the water, but again, into town in 15 minutes or so. It's really hard to beat that combination. All right, so as I mentioned, the main drag between Lewisville and Clemens is right here on Lewisville-Clemens Road. You'll notice it's 4 lanes as opposed to, you know, in Kernersville and Lewisville. It's that small little main street type feel. This is a little bit different here. Although it's still a pretty small town, we're talking just about 20,000 people, a little bit more. This feels like more. There can be quite a bit of traffic here. That's going to be the negative. Around 5 o'clock when people are getting off at work or as kids are going to school in the morning, this area can get super congested. It pays to know the back roads around here. I used to live about 5 minutes from here, and I would do just about anything to avoid this place around those times of day. Got to know the back roads very, very well just for that reason. But as you can notice, you know, we've got Chick-fil-A, Arby's, Lowe's Foods, Taco Bell, McDonald's, you know, more of your chain style restaurants. We just passed 2520, which is one of my favorite little restaurants here in town that is not a chain. So we have some of that as well, but definitely much more commercial than you're finding in most of the areas around Kernersville and Lewisville. So a little bit different feel, great town in its own right, but much different. Even though the proximity really here from Lewisville, it's only about 10 or 15 minutes. Even less to really get from one town to the other, depending on which way you're going. They are very different feels in my eyes, although a lot of times when we refer to it here, you know, locals, you'll just say, yeah, I'm headed out to Lewisville, Clemens, because you just think about this almost as one big area. But they are their own separate towns. They do have their own feel. So if you're trying to decide between the two of them, I think that's important as to whether you want more of those smaller local type of businesses. And honestly, really, there's not a whole lot out in Lewisville to speak of in the Main Street area. So most of it is, you know, driving into Winston if you want to do stuff. Clemens is almost a standstill on its own, where you can do all of your restaurants and shopping that right here in the village of Clemens. You really don't need to leave. But if you want to head into downtown, it's about the same distance as it is to get there as it is from Lewisville. All right, so this is going to be our final stop of the day. We're here in the village of Clemens. I'm just outside of Clemens West. You can see some of the sports fields in the background for the residents here of this neighborhood. There's a voluntary HOA, very low. It's like $40 a year. Again, it's voluntary, not mandatory, but you can also choose to join the pool and then have use of the playground, everything like that, if you choose to do so. Clemens West is a home community that is started back in the 60s. Larger lots, a little bit more sprawling, lots of brick ranches, things of that nature. You can find ones that have been completely done and updated for $500,000, somewhere in that ballpark, or you can get one that needs some updating. You know, 2,000 square feet on one level, ranch, $350,000 or so. Nice wide streets to go ahead and get your dog out, get your kids out, get them through the neighborhood, get them some exercise. Not a lot of through traffic, so it's pretty quiet out here. We're just down the street from Lewisville-Clemens Road, the main drag between Lewisville and Clemens, where you're gonna find all your conveniences, like your fast food, shopping, groceries, anything like that. You know, while we say that this is an alternative to living in Winston-Salem, you really don't have to go into Winston too often if you live out here in Clemens, because there are so many different dining options and things of that nature. So we have this one end of the spectrum right here with Clemens West, where the homes are a little bit older, bigger lots, more sprawling, one-level homes. Then we're going to pop over to Clouds Harbor as well. Clouds Harbor is newer construction, sugar homes still being developed, prices starting around $400,000 and going up from there. Smaller lots, city sewer, two very different neighborhoods. The thing about Clemens as well well is that it can either fall inside of Forsyth County, which most of Clemens does, but part of it is also going to be in Davidson County as well. And that's really going to have some impacts on how much you're paying in taxes every year, because Davidson County has a lower baseline than Forsyth County does. But if you're in either one of those, Clemens, Forsyth, or Davidson County, but you're not within the village of Clemens, your taxes are going to be significantly lower that way. Typically, if you find yourself out in the county, not within the village limits, you're not going to have things like city sewer. Public water is still usually almost always available, but you're going to need to be on a septic system. And what does that mean? Septic systems are going to require larger lots, so your homes are going to be spread out a little bit more. Nothing wrong with that. It just depends on, again, what you're looking for. If you like the feel of community and you like to be a little tighter to your neighbors, you probably want to be within the village. That's going to make sure your taxes go up a little bit. But if you like your privacy, you don't want to be right on top of people, then you may want to go out into the county itself, have a half an acre or more, feel like, okay, I still have neighbors, but I just don't have to know everything that they're up to. So lots of different housing options here in the village of Clemens that you should go ahead and check out. It's a great place to be. Only about 15 minutes to downtown Winston-Salem. Should absolutely be on your radar. If you enjoyed kind of going through this with us today and seeing the different options that are there out for you here in the fringes of Winston-Salem, be sure to give us a call, 336-582-9210. Shoot me an email, joel@sandmanrealtync.com. You know what? Like and subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be putting more and more stuff out like this quite often. So stick around with us. We're going to be your guides right here for Winston-Salem. Okay, guys, like I mentioned, this is going to be our final stop of the day. We are in Clouds Harbor. This is a new construction community by Sugared Homes. And most of the lots here are right around 2/10 of an acre. So they're on the smaller side, but that just means less maintenance for you on your lawn. All of these homes are coming with irrigation systems included for the front yard. You can expand that if you choose to do so. But Sugared's got a nice design center right on Jonestown Road where you get to go and pick out all your finishes. They do a really good job. The superintendent here, Steve, was awesome to work with. We just closed one of these with one of my longtime friends. He and his family just purchased a home over here. And it's about 2,500 square feet. Nice finishes, quartz countertops, LVP on the floors, and 2-car garage in their home. And it ended up being about $430,000. And that's kind of where this neighborhood is. You've got some that are up close to 5, but most of them are starting around $400,000. And you can add on any of the bells and whistles that you would like to. But this is about 5 minutes from all the restaurants and that are going in on Lewisville Clemens Road. So all the different conveniences and that you could need are right on just 5 minutes from here. You can do options like all brick, like this home right here. Get that nice look if that's something that you're into. You can go just with a brick facade like the one next to it. So really there are options abound. You can go with a home that's more main level living, like this white one here on the right, where most of your living space is going to be on the main level. And still nice and quiet out here, even though it is actively under construction. They are probably knocked out about 40 homes in here so far, and there's plenty more to come. Clemens has been a place that has really increased in its population year over year. My wife and I used to live out here about 7 or 8 years ago before we moved to Davidson County. And yeah, there's been so much development in this area since we moved away. So as you can see behind me, all these lots that are going in, these are all still available. So there's plenty of different options for you if you decide, hey, I want to go the new construction route. We can help you in that way as well. We're like a Swiss Army knife. We can do all sorts of different things. So whatever you need, be sure to reach out, 336-582-9210, joel@sandmanrealtync.com. appreciate you sticking around with us today. See you in the next one.